Hello. Hola. Me llamo Rexus. I'm gonna keep playing Broken Sword. Yep, that's all I had to say. Alright. What's up? Is there... Okay, 1 second. I'm pretty sure I saved. Can you not load the game? Restore. There. Scared the crap out of me. Sorry. Alright. Just making sure that the audio works.
The guy wasn't showing much enthusiasm
does.
selling his wares.
Yeah. Alright.
The guy wasn't showing much enthusiasm selling his wares.
Alright.
It was an armed guard looking after the barrier. It was an uninteresting little wooden hut with an armed goon outside it. The man was puffing away at a crudely rolled cigar. The old woman was preparing a food that consisted of ground maize and lots of spittle. The woman had an impressive display of gourds. The guy was selling fish. A couple of musicians stood watching life go on around them. They looked pretty depressed. Now, I like most animals, but experience had made me wary of goats, and cats, and dogs. It looked to me like an early portrait of Orson Welles.
Why did you have to walk up to it? Alright.
Hi.
Hola.
You want to buy something?
Okay.
No, not really.
I got cabbages. Buy a cabbage, senor.
I don't think so. I didn't come all this way to buy vegetables. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Aye, Tezcatlipoca. Put it away, senor. Tezcatlipoca brings nothing but evil.
The poor guy was so freaked, he didn't even mention his cabbages. Listen, have you heard of Condor Transglobal?
No. Buy a cabbage. I'll give you a discount on bulk purchases.
I'm not into cabbages. See ya.
He reminds me of the kebab guy.
Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. Can we get a cab to the capital?
This is the capital, Quaramonte City.
When's the next ship out of here?
But senor, don't you like our beautiful country?
Frankly, it sucks.
You
Gonna be an
better
American.
quick and get aboard that ship. Otherwise, you're going to be here for a week.
That's nice.
We've had enough. We're going back to the ship.
Okay. You show me your brown card,
Huh? What brown card is that?
the official exit visa.
What?
There was nothing else I wanted to ask him. Inside the hut was a chair and a small table. Hi there. What have you got for sale?
Okay?
I said, what have you got? Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Hi.
Did she
Lovely
just spit
bread.
in that?
Okay.
Bread. Pain?
Si, pan.
Maybe I'll come back later when I'm hungry. Those things are gourds, aren't they?
They're gonna
Si.
not understand.
Hey, mind the footwear, lady. Do you have crabs?
No. Only fish.
Nice fish.
Thanks.
If by some remote chance I ever need a fish, I'll be back. Do you recognize this statue?
Stop,
Si, senor. It is very, very bad
stop
luck.
showing to everyone.
That is Tezcatlipoca, the night hunter.
I know, but I don't believe in luck, good or bad.
You may not now, but you will.
The guy looked scared out of his wits.
Go away.
I recognized the
Oh,
woman
yeah, I recognize
immediately.
her.
Last time I'd seen her was in a market in Syria. It was Pearl Henderson, the globe-trotting bargain hunter. It was the band with no musical talent.
That's kind of harsh.
Hey, cheer up, guys. What's with the long faces?
Our pipe player has been arrested and thrown in jail.
Poor Miguel. He never broke the law in his life.
Oh, there's a lot I can ask.
Do you guys know anything about a total eclipse?
What is it?
It's like when the sun is hidden by the moon.
He's crazy.
My cousin Alfredo swears he saw it happen once. But that was after he stupidly consumed a cocktail of peyote and antibiotics.
Take a look at the design on this label.
I have seen that before.
Where?
There was a ship flying a flag just like that
When did you see this ship?
3 months ago. It was here, at the docks.
What do you make of this little worm?
No good. It's dead.
But
Sure it's dead. You think I'd carry it around in my pocket if it wasn't?
I've been carrying a dead worm this whole time.
Have you seen anything like...
I, the hungry chief.
Why are you carrying that thing around with you, senor? Don't you know who it is?
Sure, it's Tezcatlipoca. But it's only a little carving.
It brings death, senor. Death and destruction.
Have you any idea what this is?
No, senor.
Me neither.
Would either of you guys care for a biscuit?
A dog biscuit, senor?
Are you trying to insult us?
No, really, they're good.
We'll take your word for it.
Why don't you try playing a tune to cheer yourselves up?
No, we should be looking for real jobs.
We could earn 10 times as much down the mines. My cousin Ramirez was earning 8 pesos an hour.
Before he lost his legs in the accident.
Tell me about the accident at the mine.
There was an explosion at Teoculcan. 30 miners were buried alive.
They got some of them out, though.
2 of them, including your cousin, and they left half of him behind.
Why was Miguel put in jail?
For playing folk music.
What?
It's true, senor. He insisted on playing traditional Cuaramonte music, even though it's illegal.
Illegal.
What was the ship with the condor flag carrying?
I don't know, senor. We weren't allowed near the docks.
That's right. Usually we meet the ships when they tie up.
We play to the tourists.
Well, when the Condor ship came in, we were told to go away.
Is it gonna kick me? Okay.
In Cuaramonte, defacing a poster was probably a capital offense.
All right.
George Stobart, well of all the...
Mrs. Henderson. Boy, this is some coincidence, huh?
When you've been married to a fruitcake like Dwayne as long as I have, you stop believing in coincidence.
I'd met Pearl and Dwayne on the other side of the globe in Syria. He was an army veteran who suspected he was working for the CIA, but wasn't sure. She was less obviously deranged. Take a look at this news cutting, Pearl.
You'll have to read it to me, George. I left my specs in a gay bar in Santa Barbara.
Well,
Don't
it's
you have
about an
them on
eclipse
you?
of the sun, which is due to occur in a few weeks' time.
You'd think the government would warn us about these kind of things.
It's not dangerous or anything. Apparently, the best place to view the eclipse is right here in Quaramonte.
Oh, my.
She didn't appear to be the slightest bit interested. Look at this, Pearl. A tequila worm.
Don't you bring that thing anywhere near me, honey. I swear I'll scream like a hog on a hot plate.
What do you make of this statue, Pearl?
Hoo-wee, that's a spitting image of Dwayne's brother Sheridan. A little less body hair, maybe, but it's him all right.
What does this mean to you, Pearl?
What cute little feathers. Why, if you had two of those, they'd sure make nice earrings.
This isn't intended for frivolous personal adornment, Pearl. It's a dart, tipped with a fast-acting, muscle-numbing poison.
Pardon me, I stand corrected, honey.
Sometimes I get the feeling that communication with Pearl was like sending signals out into space. Maybe, if you waited long enough, you'd get an intelligent answer back. But it was a long shot. What do you make of this stone, Pearl?
Oh, that's pretty. What's that thing supposed to be, a rabbit?
I believe it's a coyote.
Well, it sure is cute.
I was surprised she didn't ask me where she could buy one. What brings you to Quaramonte, Pearl?
What takes me just about anywheres? The market.
You drove 2,000 miles to go shopping?
Shopping is my role in the economy of the great design, George.
Is Dwayne here with you, Mrs. Henderson?
Why, sure, I couldn't leave him home alone. Since Dwayne came back from the war, we couldn't bear to be apart.
So, where is he now?
We ain't speaking.
Why aren't you speaking to Dwayne?
Because he's an old spoil-sport sourpuss. I want to visit one of those old pyramid places, but Dwayne says he has to stay in town.
Right. And you don't want to go on your own?
Well, there's no point in going to the pyramid if there's no one around to take my picture.
Is Dwayne still working for the CIA?
If he is, he doesn't know it. He's what they call a snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No, this is different. He used to think he worked for them, but the psychotherapy cured him of that. What he doesn't realize is that now he really does work for them. At least that's the way I understood it.
Catch you later, Pearl. Hey, Nico!
Alright, Nico is here.
I have done just as I have been instructed, Professor. With the mine closed down, there'll be no one around to observe your excavations. Ah, I have visitors.
Just remember what I told you, General. There's really no need to make a martyr out of that man.
Why is Nico dressed like that?
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Senor. Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. My name's George Stobart from California.
But what is
California.
this? An angel come down to Earth.
Nicole Collard. Enchanté, mon général.
Pardon me, senorita, but I couldn't help myself.
Look, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
You've come to the right place, senor. Tourist information. General Graciento, at your service.
Right.
Do you know anything about the forthcoming eclipse, General?
Such things do not interest me, senor.
Take a look at this label.
Si, senor. Condor Transglobal.
Can you tell me where to find their offices?
No, senor. I never heard of them, and neither did Ronaldo.
Okay.
What do you think of these panties, General?
Oh boy, fabuloso!
They're yours if you'll tell me all you know about Karzak.
Karzak? I never heard of him.
Alright
Do I
then.
get the panties now? I told you all I know.
You told me nothing. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
That's a native carving, isn't it? Where did you get it?
We picked it up in the market as a souvenir.
Would you like a biscuit?
Are you trying to bribe me?
Well, every man has his price.
Mine is more than a dog cookie, Senor Stobart.
We've had enough of Quaramonte, and we want out.
Am I stopping you?
The guy at the docks tells me I need an exit visa.
Ask Ronaldo. He'll make the arrangements. That's what he's here for.
Who was the guy you were talking to when we arrived?
Professor Oubier, a visitor, senor, like yourselves.
Did you say Oubier?
Si, senor. Professor Oubier, a French archaeologist.
What's Oubier doing in Quaramonte?
Researching our rich and glorious past, senor. The professor is planning an expedition to some Mayan ruins. He came to see me to get an excavation permit.
Are there any ruins around the city?
Of course, senor. Quaramonte has everything.
I have a friend who wants to visit an historical site.
Ronaldo will only be too pleased to conduct a guided tour, when he's dealt with today's paperwork, of course.
Is it true there's a restriction on music in Quaramonte?
Yes, there is. An emergency measure introduced by Nuestra Senora.
Folk music is a link with the past for some of these people. Take away their musical roots and what do they got left?
Easy listening.
You think easy listening could replace a musical heritage hundreds of years old?
Why not? It happened in your country.
I hear there was an accident at the mine a few months ago.
That's correct.
A lot of men killed, weren't there?
A few.
30?
Barely 1% of the working population.
This is the tourist office? It says police on the sign outside.
It is both, senor. I am a man of many parts.
I can see that, General.
Are you sure you never heard of Condor?
Oh, yes.
The company is registered here in Quaramonte City.
You are mistaken, senorita.
The musicians out in the square say that a ship flying the Condor flag was birthed here.
They are simple peasants. They will go along with anything you say in the hopes of parting you from your money.
Condor is run by Karzak, isn't it?
Wrong again, senor. Karzak has nothing to do with anything called Condor, whoever he is.
Do you keep a record of companies registered in Quaramonte?
Of course, senorita. Unfortunately, all the records were destroyed by a flash flood.
I'll be back.
It was the map which the general had been showing to Professor Oubier.
So much to look at.
Senor. Leave that child alone.
It was a computer monitor with some kind of outdated game displayed on it. I didn't have time to get sidetracked by playing computer games. It was General Graciento, Quaramonte's reigning slime ball. A safe was tucked under the desk. The safe was undoubtedly locked. A couple of special offer letters were strewn across the desk. I had no need for junk mail, especially someone else's. He had the eyes of a cocker spaniel set in a face like a deflated souffle. I couldn't help wondering what had driven him to work for a man like the general. A gloomy passage led to the rear of the building.
Oh, I didn't even notice the passage.
A gloomy passage led to the rear of the building.
Trying to look at... Alright, fine.
Hi, I'm George Stobart.
Hello, senor. How can I help you?
You know anything about this eclipse?
No, senor. El General keeps me in the dark about most things.
Do you recognize this statue?
Tezcatlipoca. The night wind. Take it away, senor. That stone is cursed.
Would you like a gourmet dog snack biscuit?
I would love one, senor. But I would have a problem with my teeth.
Toothache?
No, senor. If the general catches me eating on duty, he'll knock them out.
I'm trying to get out of Quaramonte.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be able to buy back half my family.
Never mind them. What about my visa?
We don't take
Never mind
visa.
them.
I didn't ask if you take a visa. I want you to give me a visa.
I can't help you, senor. I don't understand these things.
Are there any ancient pyramids near Quaramonte?
Si, senor. But it's not very impressive. It's in ruins.
That's perfect. Would you be willing to give a guided tour of the ruins?
I can't. The General would have a fit if I left all this paperwork.
So long. I wasn't going to try investigating the passage while the General was sat there. A filing cabinet stood in the corner. The filing cabinet was probably locked.
Do you have a map of Quaramonte?
A map? I'm sorry, senor, but I don't.
What about the one on the wall?
Ah, that is an archaeological survey map, senor. Not suitable for tourists.
I'll be back.
What is that blue thing? Whatever.
Why did you show him the stone?
I thought maybe he might know something about it.
Well, he does now, for sure. He knows we have it.
Do you have any theories about this stone?
I think that design represents a dog, a Mexican dog.
So, this is the sacred Chihuahua stone? Sheesh. Take a look at this.
Mon Dieu! Where did you get that kind of money?
It's not mine. I found that statement at Ubier's house. Take a look at this.
An eclipse of the sun. Why the sudden interest in astronomy?
I found the cutting in Ubier's house.
Apparently, it's only visible from Central America.
Take a look at this, Nico.
That's disgusting, George. Why are you carrying it around with you?
I don't know. I just can't seem to part with it. Guess what this is? Go on, guess.
It's wrought iron, probably from a chimney stack on an old stove.
Well, I suppose it could be. How did she know that?
My grandfather used to work in a foundry.
That
Would you
fits.
like a biscuit?
Gourmet dog? Have you been eating those things, George?
No.
Sure, they're great. That man we saw talking to the general was Ubier. Didn't you recognize him?
I never met him, remember? The guy I called in Paris claimed to be Oublié, but he sounded nothing like the man in the police station. Maybe the professor really is innocent.
Nah, it's too much of a coincidence that he's here in Quaramonte. Labano tells me he's been seeing a lot of you.
We meet sometimes for lunch, a drink. After you'd gone back to the States, I was pretty lonely, you know.
Lonely? You must have been desperate. Couldn't you just visit the zoo or something? You came on a little strong with the general.
I was merely flattering his ego, Georges. Every man has his Achilles heel.
Maybe, but that guy's weakness isn't in his foot. Did you notice that chart on the police station wall?
Yes, it looked like a map to me, but I couldn't make out the details.
Whatever it was, the general didn't want us to see it. It was Nico, wearing clothes I'd never seen before. Hey, Nico!
Hola, señora.
Hi. We were wondering...
I was talking to the lady, Chico.
Hi, my name is Nicole Collard.
Concha Garcia. How can I help you, sister?
The corporation I represent is considering a major investment in Quaramonte. Your advice, as the head of an obviously successful
Why doesn't just she
concern,
talk for me
is
instead?
precisely what I'm after. My assistant, Mr. Stobart, has a few questions he'd like to ask you.
Would you be interested in these panties? They look about your size.
Is that your best line, Chico?
I'm serious. They were an unwanted gift.
Put them away before you get overexcited.
That face.
Have you heard about the forthcoming eclipse?
I don't take much interest in things like that. One of the boys might know about it.
You see this? It's my lucky piece of coal.
What's so lucky about it?
I'm not sure yet.
What?
Nice buns.
Just gonna ignore that.
Do you recognize the icon on this label?
Condor Transglobal.
Did the company operate here in Caramonte?
Yes, they ran an old container ship, the Mayan Princess.
Can you tell me anything about this statue?
It is Tezcatlipoca, the god of death and pestilence. That fetish would be considered by many to be a bad omen.
No.
Does this stone mean anything to you?
I think it is a spirit stone carved by a Mayan priest, no? I don't know which of their many gods it represents.
Would you like a dog biscuit?
Would you like a smack in the mouth, Chico?
Do you know Professor Ubier?
Yes. I understand he is about to embark on an archaeological expedition. He hired some equipment from me earlier today.
I overheard him talking to the general. I think they're working together.
What? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have hired out the equipment. Now, why would the general be interested in an archaeologist?
What did she say at the end? Whatever.
Can you tell me about the accident at the mine?
Accident? It was sabotage. Somebody wanted my mine closed down for good.
Do you have any evidence that the mine was sabotaged?
Not yet, but I'll get to the bottom of it. There'd been trouble at that mine for several months. The workforce was getting smaller every day. Someone had started a rumor among the men that the mine was cursed. Now the entire operation has been closed down.
Where's the site of the mine?
Several days upriver at a remote area known as Teoculcan.
Have you heard of a man named Karzak?
No? Who is he?
He's the reason we came to Caramonte. We think he's running a drug ring.
Well, I hope you find him, but I've never heard the name before.
Do you know who owned Condor Transglobal?
I've no idea.
Right?
It was Conchita, the owner of the mining company. It was a store cupboard.
Keep out of there. That's where the explosives are stored.
It was one of Conchita's posse of hunks.
Are you gonna talk?
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Consolidated Mining. If you are planning to stay in Cuaramonte City, may I recommend the Consolidated Mining Experience.
Did they just read that out?
An interactive, hands-on tour of one of our deepest mines, with talking tour guides available in 3 different languages.
A tour of a mine.
Well, this is a mining company. What else did you expect?
Do you know where I could find Senor Karzak?
No, senor.
Do you know anything about the eclipse that's due soon?
Me? No, senor.
How come you're not wearing any pants?
I feel more alert without them. A kind of perky.
And your boss doesn't mind?
She suggested it.
Do you want the panties? Oh, come on, do I really have to sit through that
He wouldn't
animation?
be interested. A disgustingly handsome man. I couldn't understand why the female owner had surrounded herself with men like this. The guy was working away like an automaton.
Come on. Alright.
Ever heard of a guy called Karzak?
Can't you see I'm busy? If I don't finish this stock report, the boss will be mad as hell.
Are you looking forward to the eclipse of the sun?
Not especially. Are you?
I don't know. I've never seen one. All I know about eclipses is that you shouldn't try to view them with the naked eye.
Please, go away and let me get on with my work.
I couldn't... Ever hear of a guy called Karzak?
No, sir.
Did you know there's an eclipse of the sun in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, Joe told me about it. He's having a party and we're all invited. Me and the boys are dressing up as evil monks.
Yeah? Cool. Ever heard of a guy called Karzak?
No.
Do you know anything about the eclipse?
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I heard it's going to be pretty spectacular.
It's in a few weeks' time, isn't it?
9 days.
Thanks.
9 days, not a few weeks' time. Right.
There was nothing else I wanted to... I had nothing...
Right. I think I was able to go somewhere here. No, I was wrong. Do you have to walk like that? Let me talk to Nico a bit.
There was nothing else I wanted to...
Is that Wayne?
He was a friendly-looking guy. It was Pearl's husband, Dwayne. It was that suspect archaeologist, Ubier.
Hi, I'm George Stobart.
What do you think of these panties?
Awesome. You wear them?
No, someone sent them to my girlfriend.
Thoughtful.
Have you heard about the eclipse of the sun?
Sure, I'm having a party to celebrate it. Drop by.
Really?
Sure. Plenty of food, plenty of wine, and everyone's invited, except the general.
Do you recognize the design on this label?
Why, sure. That's the Condor Transglobal Shipping Company logo.
Do they have an office in Quaramonte?
No, but they ship out from here.
That's what I thought. Why don't you want the general at your party?
Because if he comes, he'll bring those damned music albums from the 70s.
Do you know what this statue represents?
Should do. I used to carve things like that to sell to tourists, but it scared people around here, so I stopped.
Can you tell me anything about this stone?
That's obsidian. It's a volcanic rock which has cooled so fast that...
Yeah. Look, I'm not interested in geology.
You're not? I suppose you want to know about the carved picture on it.
That's right.
Then the guy you should talk to is the professor. He's over there, talking to the bozo in the truck.
What can you tell me about the mining company?
The general closed down one of their mines after the explosion. Lots of folks lost their lives. I was lucky. I only lost my legs.
Did you see the ship with
Oh,
the
I didn't
Condor
even
flag?
realize.
No.
But the dock is just the other side of the square.
Might as well be the other side of the moon.
It was a beat-up old wreck of an army truck. Stealing trucks wasn't my style.
Hey, Mr. Anderson. Good to see you again.
Do I know you, son?
George Stobart, remember? In Syria? I sold you a statue.
I remember that. Pearl was mighty vexed when the paint came off.
Look, I'm sorry. I'll give you back the $50.
No, you suckered me fair and square. This here is Bertrand.
Bertrand Oubier? So, we finally caught up with you.
What the devil are you talking about?
Don't give me that crap, Oubier.
Now hold fire, George. Suppose you tell us what the hell's going on.
This man lured Nico to his house in Paris in order to abduct her.
Nonsense. I've been in Quaramonte for the last 7 months.
And I can vouch for that. George, I think you owe Bertrand an apology.
Okay, Oubier, I'm sorry.
Fine.
What do you think of these panties, Dwayne?
Lord, hot stuff, George. You buy those for your girl?
No, a guy we knew in Paris bought them for her.
Oh, you're a threesome then.
That's racist.
Why are you looking at me like that, George?
Forget it. Do you know anything about a shipping company called Condor Transglobal?
I never heard of it, son.
Would you like to borrow my lucky piece of coal, Dwayne?
What's so lucky about it?
Well, we made it to Quaramonte in one piece.
When you've been here a few days, you won't look on that as luck.
Would you like a biscuit, Dwayne?
Oh, no. Those gourmet dog snacks bring me out in a rash.
You've tried them?
They were on special offer. Pearl bought a whole crate. When I asked her if she was thinking of keeping a dog, too, she just laughed.
Did you drive all the way down here?
Hell no. Pearl did the driving while I followed the maps. The way she handled the wheel, you'd think she'd been trucking half her life.
What's in the truck, Dwayne?
Oh, just camping equipment. Sleeping bags and tents. Me and Pearl always hankered after a taste of the great outdoors.
Aren't you worried about camping out in a tropical jungle?
We had a trial run in West Virginia. This'll be a breeze in comparison.
I spoke to Pearl earlier.
Yeah? Did she mention that we had a kind of falling out?
Yes, she did.
She'll get over it.
Did you know that traditional music is illegal in Quaramonte?
Is that so? Seems reasonable to me.
No, really. The leader of the band in the square has been imprisoned just because of the music he played.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but that fella, Miguel, he's an agitator.
What's the real reason the musician was imprisoned?
Handed out subversive literature at the mines. That so-called general was waiting for Miguel when he got back into town. Marched him off to jail at gunpoint on a charge of inciting a riot.
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Sounds like a comic book villain to me, son.
He's the man behind Condor, and the rat who kidnapped Nico.
You know, the first time I met you, I was deeply impressed with your naive simplicity. I said to Pearl, if we ever had kids, I would have wanted a boy like George. But I underestimated you, son.
Do you think the general was involved with Condor?
Hell no. And if he's a general, I'm a Buddhist. No, that fella's just a mouthpiece for the real power in Quaramonte.
So the general is nothing but a puppet?
He's like Pinocchio before he met the Blue Rinse Fairy. Strictly strings and wood.
Who's pulling the strings?
His mother. Better known as La Presidenta, the dictator.
Are you still working for... you know who?
Who's that, George? You know I'm retired.
Oh, nothing. Forget it. I confused you with somebody else.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Take a look at this, Professor. What have you got to say about that?
Where did you get this?
Never mind that. How do you explain these withdrawals?
I left my financial affairs in the hands of my secretary.
Including the withdrawal of funds in cash from your personal account?
I trust Gwyneth implicitly.
And why Marseille? Why the very place my girlfriend was taken?
That's obvious, Stobart. We are both the victims of the same devious plot.
What plot?
I have no idea.
Do you know anything about this eclipse, Professor?
Of course. It's not the reason I'm here in Quaramonte, but I'm looking forward to seeing it all the same.
Do you see this label?
Yes. It refers to a company named Condor. What of it?
I traced that company here, to Quaramonte. Do you know where I can find the offices of Condor Transglobal?
The company no longer exists. They went bankrupt recently.
I have proof that you are directly involved with Condor.
I used them as shippers to transport artifacts to a gallery in Paris. Beyond that, I have no connection with the company, which, as I said, no longer exists.
Can you identify this statue, Professor?
Oh yes. Tezcatlipoca, the Lord of Darkness.
A Central American god, right?
A supreme deity. Tezcatlipoca means, literally, smoking mirror. There. You see the mirror shield in his left hand? The Mayans believed he could look into the mirror and see into the hearts of men. He was the wind which came howling in the night in search of victims, and victims they gave him by the thousand.
Human sacrifices?
Men, women, children, animals, anything that bled. The steps of his temple ran red with the blood of sacrifices. The Mayans have a legend that says he'll return one day. I hope I'm not around to see it.
Can you tell me anything about this stone?
Where did you get that?
That's my business.
How much do you want for it?
It's not for sale.
Where did I get it? Wait. Alright, I got it from Andre.
Would you like a biscuit?
No,
Was
thank
keeping it
You
safe.
should, they're good. I can't get enough of these things. Have you ever employed a Central American butler or servant?
I've never employed any kind of servant, monsieur.
What are you doing in Caramonte, Professor?
Seeking Mayan artifacts. Central American history has been my life's work.
Tell me about your wife, Professor.
Please, I don't want to talk about her.
Maybe you don't, but I do. Why was she known as the Little Dachshund?
It was just a silly pet name I used to call her. Somehow some damned reporter found out.
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Yes, I know him. In fact, if it wasn't for Kazak, I wouldn't be here.
What?
He's financing my expedition.
What's your interest in the eclipse, Professor?
Oh, it's purely a layman's curiosity. History is my subject, not astronomy. But I've been fascinated by the movements of the heavenly bodies since I was a child. I wouldn't miss a total eclipse for the world.
Does the eclipse have some special significance for you?
For me? No. For the ancient Mayans, it marked the end of the Fifth Age.
Perhaps we should be celebrating.
Ah, no. The end of each age heralds destruction on a global scale. The fifth is the final age, ending in the total destruction of the Earth.
Good thing it's just a myth. Phew.
I had nothing else to... I had nothing else.
Why wasn't Nicole with me when I talked to Ubia?
There was nothing else I wanted to talk to Nico about at that time.
Okay. Maybe the band?
Have you met the guy who calls himself the General?
No, I haven't. Is he a real general?
I guess so. He wears a lot of medals on his chest. The wrong side of his chest. At least for any army I'd ever seen. I hear you drove all the way to Quaramonte. In a truck.
That's right. You would not believe the state of some of those roads. Makes me downright sad to think there's still some places you can't reach in an automobile. In this day and age, you'd think there'd be decent highways just about anywhere folk choose to go.
Catch you later, Pearl.
Tell me about the general. You know, the guy in charge around here.
We don't want to talk about him, senor.
How come? No one can hear you. Well, only that old goat.
In Quaramonte, we have a saying. Don't tell your old goat what you don't want your wife to know.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Go away.
Hey, Nico!
Right?
I'd like to visit your prisoner.
Condemned prisoners aren't allowed visitors.
Condemned?
To death. He is to be executed. Knowing my luck, I will probably have to shoot him myself.
Amnesty International is gonna hear about this. I thought Miguel was arrested for playing the wrong kind of music.
Si, senor, he was.
And that carries the death penalty?
No, no, no. You think we're crazy? While being questioned, he confessed to being an anti-government agent.
So long.
The way Stobart ends his conversations.
I'd asked him all I'd wanted to for now. I wasn't going to try investigating the passage while the... There was nothing else.
Yeah, how do I get rid of the general? How do I get rid of him? Let's talk to Pearl. Where is the professor gone?
Have you really never heard of Condor?
Of course I have, son. Matter of fact, it was old Dwayne's investigations scared him off.
Maybe I'm wrong, but you seem kind of evasive when I asked you about what you had in that truck before.
Damn right I was being evasive. I couldn't talk in front of the foreign nationals, see? George, I'm on a top-secret classified mission for Uncle Sam. This truck is a rolling bomb. 400 pounds of nitrate fertilizer with a plastique initiator. They'll hear the bang in China. Gee, I'm really looking forward to this.
What is he doing?
Is Miguel the reason you're here?
Pretty smart, George. I was supposed to make
Is
contact
he actually in the CIA?
By the time I found him, though, he was in jail. I've been trying to figure out a way to get him out since then.
Sounds good to me. Count me in.
Good man, George. All I need is a detonator.
Why don't you have one?
Did you find any evidence of Condor's drug smuggling operations?
Drugs? Hell no! Condor was a cover for the illegal export of Mayan artifacts.
So who was behind Condor Transglobal?
It was registered in the name of Edan.
Did you get the guy?
I don't think he ever existed. Edan backwards spells Nady, Spanish for nobody.
How come you brought a truckload of explosives but no detonator?
Call me old-fashioned, but I say packing trunks is woman's work. I left the packing to Pearl, and I can't find a darn thing.
Just
hope
ask
you
him.
remember to bring my denture polish. I'd sure hate to arrive back in the States with tar on my teeth.
Did you know that the truck was full of explosives?
Whatever gave you that idea, as if I couldn't guess?
Your husband. He was exaggerating, wasn't he?
Sometimes I wonder how I'm gonna cope with Dwayne's over-fertile imagination.
Right, who do I
Do you
believe?
know where I could buy a detonator?
Did Dwayne put you up to this by any chance? Oh, I get it. This is to detonate the truckload of explosives, right?
Hey, come on, I was kidding. Did you think I was serious?
I know what you boys are like when you get together and make plans. Dwayne says he could solve all the world's problems if he had enough missiles.
Catch you later, Pearl.
Alright. I guess I could ask the mining company.
It was one of the cell windows. There was a forlorn-looking guy asleep on the floor of the jail. It was Miguel, the pipe player. Hey, Miguel! He didn't hear me. I had nothing else to add. I had nothing more to say.
Yeah. Into the mining company. He didn't call for Nico this time?
Do you have any kind of detonating device in stock?
Sure. They're kept in that cupboard.
I don't suppose you have one spare?
I can't simply give you a device like that, no without a damn good reason.
The General has a chart in his office, which he was discussing with Ubier.
Perhaps that chart will tell us where they're heading.
Maybe, but I can't get anywhere near it while the General and his sidekick are there.
So will you let me take it?
Hey! Stay out of that cupboard.
I had nothing. I guess a mining company must use explosives, right?
Not in the accounts and ledger section, to my knowledge.
So I need to distract her first,
Do you know where I could find a detonator?
to then
Sure.
distract the
The
general.
cupboard behind the boss. But she won't let you have it.
I'll use my charm.
This I gotta see.
I'm looking for a detonator.
Oh my, that's dangerous. I mean, are you qualified to handle those things? I don't know how you can work with explosives. I'd be too scared of blowing myself up. That's why I work in an office. Mind you, clerical duties are not as safe as you might think. You know those things you use to remove staples? You know, staple removers?
Look, I sympathize, but I've heard enough of this crap.
I've never heard of a staple remover.
Do you keep detonators in the office?
I don't know. I'm new here. In fact, I started this morning. I don't have a clue what I'm supposed to be doing. Are you familiar with accounting software?
Would George know?
Yeah, sure. Which package are you using?
It's called Link. The guy who wrote it must be a lunatic. Every time I save a file, it plays a silly tune, and a little cartoon piglet dances across the display.
So what's the problem?
Well, none, I guess. But it's not what I'd expect from a professional accounting package.
I had nothing.
All right.
There was nothing else.
I guess Nico.
Could you distract the general while I took a look at that chart?
You're kidding. Did you see the way he was leering at me?
Yeah. You'd make a great snake charmer. Come on. 5 minutes is all I need.
Well, maybe. But it's your harebrained scheme. You do the talking.
So she looks at the map. So I didn't need the explosives at all. Okay.
My girlfriend has a favor she wants to ask you, General.
For you, my dear. Anything.
I've changed my mind.
Oh, no, you haven't. She's embarrassed about asking you for an interview, General.
An interview with me? Fabuloso!
Well, I want to write a story about you.
You hear that, Ronaldo? An exclusive glossy spread about your beloved general.
Si, Signor General.
Look after things here. I'm going back to my apartment and I don't want to be disturbed.
I'll get you for this, George Stobart.
Don't worry. If you're gone for more than a couple of hours, I'll come and get you.
A couple of hours?
No, 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 Signor. The General said nobody must see that chart.
He won't know unless you tell him.
You don't know him, Signor. He will worm it out of me as easily as he de-waxes his ear.
Okay. I'd have to get rid of him. I'd still have to figure out how to get rid of Ronaldo, but...
Okay.
Would you take my friend to the ruins now the General's gone?
I'd be honored, Signor.
Thanks. I'll go get her.
Oh, Pearl.
I've made the arrangements for your visit to the temple, Pearl.
Oh, that's just great, George. Why don't you come too, honey?
I'd love to, but right now I have to save the world.
Maybe later.
Listen, sweetie. I'm looking for an official guide to take me to the old pyramid.
For a lovely lady, I would go to the ends of the earth. For you, I will go as far as the pyramid and back. But what about your husband?
What he doesn't know won't hurt him. Let's go, Beanpole.
All right.
As Pearl and Ronaldo set out for the ruined pyramid, I prepared to search the police station. The filing cabinet was probably locked. I had no need. The safe was
All right, I guess I can only look at the things that I was already planning to do.
It looked like a geological survey map showing the land to the southeast of Cuaramonte City. About 60 miles inland and upstream was an area marked Teoculcan. It looked like a
It just says
about
the same
60
thing.
miles.
Ooh.
It was a length of rope, knotted in a hangman's noose. I couldn't reach. It was Miguel, the musician. I'm George Stobart. You're Miguel the musician, aren't you?
Ex-musician, senor. My career is finished.
Going to jail could be the boost your career needed.
Senor, I would rather die than live with this shame.
Have you heard of a guy called Karzak?
Yes. The old man spoke of him.
The foreigner? Professor Ubier?
That's right. This man Karzak is Ubier's boss.
Why is that noose hanging from the bars?
Ronaldo strung it up for me to hang myself. Don't cry for me, Senor Stobart. When I am dead, the goddess will take my soul to rest in paradise.
Can I not save him?
There was nothing I wanted to talk about right then. I couldn't reach.
Like the dart? Lucky stone? What? Is there nothing? What? Wait, are we still looking for a detonator? Okay.
The safe was undoubted. The filing cabinet was
Maybe I can tell the boss that Nico needs her help.
I got a good look at that chart in the police station. It's a map of Quaramonte.
Does it tell us where Ubier is heading?
Yeah, a place called Teoculcan.
That's the site of the mine. I wonder why they're being so secretive about Ubier's plans. One thing's for sure. If the general's involved, they're up to no good. I'd like to talk to that musician Miguel. Take the detonator and get him out of that jail.
Oh, it was that easy. Now let's just hope Dwayne wasn't lying. I got your
Here is
detonator.
the detonator, Dwayne. Keep your voice down, George. You want everyone to know. You'd best go and warn Miguel that the U.S. cavalry's on the way.
Okay.
Kinda cool that the music change to include the leitmotif of the US cavalry. US cavalry. Don't tell me it's gonna be dead now. Okay. Phew.
Hey, Miguel,
What is it? What is happening?
we're getting out of here.
Who's we? They've sent the Delta Force.
Kinda.
The Impossible Missions Force.
Don't make me sick. Much better.
Who then?
A retired greetings card salesman from Ohio.
I'm doomed.
You're not the only one.
I should have known you'd be trouble the moment I saw you.
Look, I can explain everything.
Get in that cell. Now.
And what if I refuse?
He'll shoot you.
Okay, here I am, going quietly into the cell.
Very wise. Not Americano scum.
One of the reasons I hate guns so much is the way they make people so damned impolite.
I hope you're enjoying your vacation, Senor Stobart.
Ah, go polish your weapon, Ronaldo.
This was part of your plan, right?
Well, in a manner of speaking, no. I was all out of ideas. It was up to Nico now.
What about the detonator?
So, here we are.
You've changed.
I thought I would slip into something more comfortable.
The stench of cheap cologne rolled over me like tear gas.
So, what do you want to know about me? Ask and I will answer. I will deny you nothing. I am a very giving person.
How nice for your friends.
Your eyes are glittering like stars.
His damn cologne was making my eyes water. I was running out of sofa.
As spirited as you are beautiful, I admire that.
As long as he admired it from afar.
Right, I'm gonna stop it here. Is the wait, is the game really that short? Anyway, yeah. So it was nice. Guess I'm gonna be Nico next time. Yeah. I don't know when next time will be, but it will be this week.